Right, welcome back. Today, as I said last time, I'm going to be lobbing off the old rectifier and I think I had the airbox mounted to it as well, the old bracket off the frame, because that is now fouling the pod filter. So that's going to be the first order of today, is to whip that off. Just wanted to say first of all, thank you to John Triumph Sharp, your star mate. He sent me some fork gaiters that he had lying around. Really kind, fit perfectly. I've already popped them on the old forks for a test fit. So they are really well received, mate. Thank you ever so much. I think probably sit sort of around about there-ish. But yeah, as it's a budget build, so that is full on appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. And so from the forks to the back to the bike, I can't remember in the last video if I'd put the rear shocks and the swing arm on the bike or not. I just kind of threw those on whilst after I finished filming and was just messing around just to get a bit more of an idea of what everything was going to look like. So if I did put it on there, sorry. If I didn't, there it is. But I'm going to have to tear all that down now because I need to get that frame out. Right, so the old that bracket's gone now. That's been cut off. And whilst I had the angle grinder out, I was looking at it and I thought where I'd left on the rear, kind of the rear. Was it? No, I don't think it was the pillion peg mount. I might have been part of the pillion peg mount, but also where the old exhaust hanger used to be. I think I'm probably going to go for a much shorter, lighter version than stock. And that just big old ugly bracket has been annoying me. I can make something up that's going to look a lot better if I need to secure it further in, so I've lopped that off as well. Had a bit of a shuffle around and a tidy up, and I've got the bike back up again and kind of worked sort of everything loosely, well not everything but bits loosely back on it, so I can start working out a few more of the more intricate details. So this will give you a bit more of an idea of what it might end up looking like. So we go up on the old workbench. That's now given me a good idea of sort of where the bars are going to sit. I didn't work it out quite right because I couldn't get the forks on, but that's no big. I don't really need them on there anyway. But the rear, this is the bit I'm more interested in at the moment. So I can see what space I've got around here for ignition and electrics, battery, that sort of stuff. Gives me a chance to have a bit of an idea of what I'm going to do in terms of rear end. I mean, kind of, I haven't really thought it through because I wanted to see how it kind of develops by itself. And also I had a pretty good intention of just leaving it as is. Obviously I put a tyre on. Possibly like a side mount with the rear light on. But I'm just wondering, maybe sort of like I've got a couple of old front mud guards, maybe a little mud guard just in that section there. It's going to just save a lot of. I'm conscious of all the shit splattering onto the air filter, the battery box, all that kind of, depending on what happens there, that's a vulnerable area, and I've got absolutely nothing really that kind of protects any of that. So possibly I've also got, I mean, this is the point where I'm just sort of brainstorming, if you like. I mean, I'm going through what I've got, not necessarily what is going to go on, but you might remember that used to be on Jen's bike a while back. Not sure, thinking that might be how far it can I get. This is more for my benefit actually, but I think that's just going to look too heavy and hanging out, so that's kind of a no. Yeah, just looking at the front now, I mean, do I go with the stock light? I'm keen on a very small bottom mount, to be honest. I'm sort of stuck between using what I've got and doing it on a very, very tight budget, but then also not wanting to see, I'm just getting the other light at the moment, also not wanting to end up with something where when it's finished and a few months down the line I just go, oh God, I wish I'd done that, you know, I wish I'd sort of just used what I had. I wish I'd spent the extra couple of quid. But I mean, that's the stock light. Again, it just looks, I think now it's kind of slimmed down. All this kind of stuff's just looking massive on it and a bit kind of blobby and heavy, so no, I think that's probably a no-go. Yeah, interesting. So I'm going to dig out the battery now and just have a look at that area a bit more. But yeah, this is yeah, a bit of the old chin scratching and just sort of sitting having a smoke and looking at it really at the moment. But yeah, it's taking shape. Well then, as is the way, I've managed to get quite easily distracted whilst messing around with looking at where I'm going to put the battery. But I'll come on to that. As for the battery, moving around, I quite like it sitting there. It's actually just resting on the main bulk of the swing arm there. So maybe make up a little tray that it can that I can tap and bolt to the swing arm, and then that can sit in there, and then sort of big leather buckle or strap around it just to hold the battery in place. Possibly still got to then work out where I'm going to put the ignition, unless I mount something around here, but I don't want to start filling all this up. So yeah, still the old chin scratching on that. But whilst I was looking at that, I was digging through the bits and pieces, and now I'm just thinking a step ahead with what I'm going to do in terms of brake lights, indicator mounting positions, number plate, and yeah, it's quite a lot of stuff. I originally just got that, which was just had like a handy bracket. I think that was off my Bonneville, and that I don't know. I mean, I could, you know, obviously chop it down a little bit depending on which brackets I'm going to use, and then possibly mount that under the seat somewhere so the indicators are there. But then, I don't know, they were looking a little bit iffy there. So then I found these old, I think they're rear foot peg hanger brackets or something like that, and they actually fit. I was using them, just messing around. Let's see, which way does it go? That way? No, other way. They would actually fit quite nicely there, and then the indicator mount in there, in that hole there. I quite like the idea of having the indicators fairly low down there. So that's kind of, obviously they'll need tidying up, chop that tab off, clean them up and paint them. but they're almost custom fit for that, so I'm quite pleased about that. So that's a possibility. Indicators there. Looking around again, as I say, back to the old light. It's just too large to make a side mount out of. It's just huge. But I was thinking maybe chop off this plate here, and then mount it underneath there on the bottom of the seat, so it'll look like that from the back. I'm thinking of not having the number plate near the brake light and just having it side mounted with a couple of LEDs as number plate bolts, which will work for illuminating the plate, which we kind of have to do. But I don't think that looks too... Sorry, just had a beep then, the battery's getting low. I don't think that looks too obtrusive. Yeah, not sure, possibly. So then, yeah, then I'm back to, from my mate Russell, the side mount. Of course, if that goes there, then that's going to bodge my ideas of having an indicator. Can I mount it higher up? Don't know, it might get in the way a bit. Yeah, so there's lots of sort of ideas bouncing around. I'm also going to look into how much the little mini gel batteries cost. That might, cause I mean, that thing does weigh a ton. It's a big old girt bit of kit, so I'd like to maybe get that a bit smaller. But yeah, so I've got an awful lot of thinking to do at the moment, and scratching and just kind of planning things out. So yeah, so I mean, today's progress, we got a bit more of an idea of where everything's going. The frame's kind of a bit more, you know, up to this point where I want to be welding. Just got to work out some bracketry, and yeah, it's rolling on a little bit, isn't it? Right, so a little bit of humming and hawing there. It's now a couple of days after that first part of that video was filmed. Had a bit of a manic weekend, so I haven't had a chance to get back in the shed, and a lot of food for thought. But I've since then also mocked up a few little ideas, which has helped the eradication process in terms of things I might or might not do. At the moment, I did mock up with a bit of old gaffer tape just to see what a mudguard on the back would look like, and just tape that light on there as well to see what it was like. And it serves a purpose, but I don't like it. You know, this it's defeating kind of what I want to achieve with this, which is like as stripped down as it possibly can be. So this is not happening. This will be coming off, and I think a much smaller light, rear light. I'm still not even. I'm even humming and hawing. Do I run it without indicators? You know, it's. I think I probably will. Just because, I mean, the switchgear's got indicators on there. If I had a much more minimalised switchgear, oh, bless you, much more minimalised switchgear, then, you know, maybe I'd be thinking about stuff like that. But they're pretty. They're not the smallest indicators in the world, but they're not stupidly big. I'm still keen on whether or not I put them either up here or down here with a bit of modification to these brackets. The gut feeling is I'm going to whip out the angle grinder in a minute. I've got sort of a handful of bits I want to angle grind, so I'll hit all those in one go. But I'm thinking chop these down a little bit to mod them to make them fit there better, because they don't really fit on there perfectly yet. They fit, perfectly yet on there. They fit well down there, but then if I'm going for the side mount, which I think I am, I'm going to want the indicators up here. So I think the indicators up here, that's going to tuck them away. They're kind of mixed in with the whole top, the top bolt on the shock, and you know, so that's quite clean. Keep as much of this clean as possible. So it's literally just going to be that. None of this gubbins. little light, number plate, brake light on the back there. I think that's the way to go. You know, keep it stripped down. I've started looking at a few gel batteries as well. Going to do a bit of research at the moment. You know, there's obviously the price differences between something that's 15 quid and 55 quid and upwards. You know, it's not a big engine that needs to turn over, so I want to try and do a bit of research, see what I can get away with on that, and that's going to open up a lot more possibilities. Alex, who's comments on these videos a lot, his mate's just built a stunning SR250 cafe racer. You know, a lot more work gone into it than this one. But I did really like the fact that he'd mounted his little gel battery underneath there, so that's even more hidden, and then that opens this section up, which I'm still really keen to do. So yeah, I'm running on this kind of very minimalistic rear end, a lot of open space. So yeah, it's been kind of good. You know, I had a lot of ideas running around, and that's kind of helped me work out what I'm going to do. In terms of the side mount, not sure yet. There's a bit of Bonneville love happening again in a minute. I've sold quite a lot of bits and bobs on eBay, which is well, largely just paying the bills at the moment, but some of it's been funneled back into the bike as well. And I want a side mount, quite a nice looking discreet little one, nothing too flash. It's a bit it's a Hong Kong kind of job, but you know, at the end of the day, I always think with those items, it's, you know, it's a light, you know, that if it's crappy wiring, you can resolder it, but at the end of the day, it's not a structural integral part, you know, so you can usually get away with them for those. It's not too bad, and it was pence to buy, so it's something I can afford to have a bit of a play with and just see if I like it. So that might happen with the rear mudguard on the Bonneville. Also, sort of toying with the idea of maybe some fat bars on there. Don't know yet. Can't leave well enough alone. But we'll see. So I'm waiting for those bits to come. So there'll probably be a video in a bit with a bit of possible fun and games and changes to the Bonneville afoot. But on the flip side, if it doesn't work out on the Bonneville, side mount will fit perfectly on here. So it's kind of ticked a few boxes there. So yeah, as I said, we've got some angle grinding fun to do. I'm going to cut down these little bad boys, work out exactly what I need to trim off there. I'm also going to cut down these lugs off the footrests. I had a mate out on the back of the bike over the weekend, so I put the pillion pegs for the Triumph back on, and they would fit perfectly on there. They'd be a great peg, but ultimately I'm going to want these just in case I do. If the odd occasion I'll take someone out on the back. Also, that might look a bit weird having Triumph stamped on a Yamaha, but I think I might go back to these as the foot peg plan. But I'm pretty sure whatever happens, I don't need these tabs, so they're going to come off. And also, Jen's chain guard finally got round to thinking we must really fit this back on, and she wants a bit of chopping and fun done to it. So I might have a look at that in a minute. I've taken the paint off, and we'll have a look at chopping that down, maybe a couple of holes in it or something like that. Something a bit groovy. Who knows? We'll see what the day holds. But yeah, first order is those little indicator brackets, I think. So here we go. That's the tab off. And then I think the next kind of thing I want to do is where this lip is higher here. Let's get the light there. Try and just chop all this down so this is flush. So when it mounts up with just a slight curve here, that will just sit nicely against the top of the shock. But this is in the way, so let's get rid of that. Right, so that's the first one, reprofiled. From that to that, So let's offer that up and see how that fits on the old shock mount. Okay, so a bit of fettling and messing around, and the bracket's on, but I have to say I'm not convinced. It's all right, you know, it's an indicator, but I don't know, have I been looking at it for too long? I don't know that that indicator is particularly right for this. It seems to just stick out loads. It looks like, I don't know, test tubey type thing. Yeah, it just seems a bit too massive. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I think the general idea of the placement is right. I mean, it looked a lot less obtrusive back in there. So unless I do mount them with a bracket underneath onto the seat there and recessed back a bit, I just think that sticks out way too far. But this is all the fun, isn't it? It's all the trial and error. But I think I'm probably going to call this video, or call it a wrap for today, purely because I can't remember how much I videoed the other day. So I don't want this turning into some half hour of getting nowhere, which it probably already is. But there we go. That's just kind of just progress or lack of it. Just a bit of update of where we're at, and yeah, I'll keep scratching and thinking, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.